Chapter 2, Part 12. Eiji began to see the light. The big, bright light everyone says to avoid. Hellugarmon, the Hellfire Demon Wolf, had taken the brunt of the Holy Night Digimon's blast, leaving half their body frozen solid. Deep inside the Digicore, Eiji, his consciousness anyhow, quietly ceased breathing. Eiji's last memory would be of a cold, so far below freezing, it felt like everything was on fire. No amount of concentration could overcome the shock of the cold. He felt as though his entire body, such as he conceived of it inside the Digicore, was stiffening, and no amount of concentration could force this muscle to move. He treaded water, desperate to stay conscious and focused inside the Digicore as it threatened to grind to a halt. It was all slipping away. The Digicore, Eiji's consciousness, his life. Poor Hellugamon. The misshapen, misbegotten, unformed ultimate Digimon was now frozen in place, convulsing, unable to run wild and free. Omegamon raised the transcendent sword with its left hand. The Royal Knights were digivolved to destroy. They were Mega Digimon, but also in a class all their own. Their specs were immeasurable and unknown. No one had ever successfully communicated with one, and thus no one knew what their goals were, if they had any. Delete all. The moment the transcendent sword, on which those words were engraved, ran through Hellugamon, they'd become so many scraps in the vortex. Eiji's consciousness would be consumed by digital noise. It was hopeless now. Eiji's consciousness would be consumed by digital noise. Was hopeless now. Eiji confronted certain death for the first time in his life, and there was nothing he could do about it. It would visit upon him soon enough. He had to let go of his obsession with winning, let go of his crack. Eiji felt the force of a blow, but not on his own body. Something had come between Hellugamon and Omegamon. Lugamon! I know that voice. Eiji swore he heard Pulsemon's voice. The little static shock. He focused his attention on the virtual monitor. Leon? It was Kazuchimon. They charged in from the side and tackled Omegamon, wrapping up the Digimon's leg and letting momentum and gravity take over. Eiji watched as both Digimon dropped into the gaping maw of the vortex. Omegamon glared at Eiji and Hellugamon as it steadily, rhythmically, thrust its elbow into Kazuchimon's back. Kazuchimon held fast, dragging the knight down into the unknown. Kazuchimon had made its choice. They fell deeper, and deeper, and deeper still, until they were both out of sight. Eiji. A voice. Leon's voice, crackling and distant. So distant. He was still in Kazuchimon's Digicore. Leon, let go! You dropped straight into the vortex! Eiji screamed. This is Royal Knight. Stronger than Mega. Holy Knight. The last. Leon's voice was cutting out more frequently now. But Eiji knew Omegamon was one of the system administrator's gatekeepers tasked with guarding the firewall. There was no way Eiji would be able to communicate with it. He also knew that Omegamon would do its duty, prevent any real-world data from entering the digital world. Impartially, fairly, instantly. This Holy Knight would bring Leon and Kazuchimon a swift death. Leon! Leo! I'm sorry, AG. I can't hear you anymore. I don't even know if you can hear me. I tried to save you. I'm so sorry. I just didn't know what else to... Silence. One last, sharp elbow loosened Kazuchimon's grip. Omegamon, finally free, turned to flee the vortex. Shido Itetsu! Kazuchimon's electromagnetic barrier formed once more. You're not getting away! Leon used the last of his mind-link power to seal Omegamon in with him. It wouldn't be quite so easy for the inscrutable Digimon to break this time. The inside of the barrier is stronger than the outside. I'm not gonna let you lay a finger on my friend. Kazuchimon grabbed Omegamon from behind, wrapping its arms up in a full Nelson hold. Omegamon relinquished its focus on Hellugamon and contorted its neck at odd angles, spinning its head around until it could look like Kazuchimon in the eye. Leon stared into the eyes of an angel of death. Neither Leon nor Kazuchimon loosened their grip. Leon was a hacker, and this was righteous and just. They're not going anywhere. I'm all yours as long as I've got left. Kazuchimon and Omegamon continued their descent into the vortex. They were nearly through. That's when it happened. They're through, AG yelped. The virtual monitor was suddenly free of errors, and his commands were finally registering. AG was back in touch with his Digimon partner. Hellugarmon, finally free of the freezing blast from Omegamon's supreme cannon, forced themselves into recovery mode and downgraded to Rookie. Back to the fuzzy little wolf who spent so many nights curled up on the loft in AG's apartment. Lugamon, hang in there, buddy! AG? What's happening? Lugamon was okay. AG was still conscious, and his tools were back online. That meant the Digicore was also likely intact. AG enjoyed a brief moment of relief before calling out to Leon, who had just sacrificed himself to spare them both Omegamon's wrath. Get out of here, Leon! I get it, I've lost! I'll think about quitting code cracking. Just get out of here! He had no way of knowing if Leon would ever hear those words. Alert! 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 Alarms were going off in Kazuchimon's Digicore, with Leon's consciousness locked inside. The mind-link timer on the virtual monitor tool had long since hit 0. He was well over the limit line now. Kazuchimon, arms still locked around Omegamon, disappeared into the depths of the vortex. A moment later, the hole in the firewall closed without a sound. AG tended to Lugamon's injuries as they sat alone on the island of garbage data. There was nothing more to do.